It is Valentine's Day, but guess who is not necessarily feeling the NCAA love? That would be the North Carolina Tar Heels. But did they do it themselves to themselves? Is it self-inflicted? What is going on? How do they turn things around? Is there time? They should have got that one against Miami, but is Miami arguably the best team in the ACC? I don't know. I might have changed my mind since yesterday when I said Pitt. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
As if you didn't need any help enough, Jordan Miller, Coach Larinaga, Nigel Pack, Isaiah Wong, everybody's eating over here. Amir, it's just like, who wants a turn? Is Miami becoming a complete team? That is probably the topic of conversation as we looked at last night's win for them, 80-72 victory against North Carolina Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. Mind you, a very hostile territory. And I'm just sitting here trying to figure out what is going on with the guys in baby blue. It's a lot, but I got Drizzy Drake here. Hopefully it will help me have that conversation. Drake, how we feeling? Long time no see, my friend.
I know, it's been a hot minute. Happy Valentine's Day to y'all.
Yeah.
We're out here just hanging out, chilling. It is Tuesday. We're turning up on a Tuesday. It's going to be a great, great day. Love is in the air. But more importantly, March is right around the corner, too. We got March Madness coming up. I'm about to cue up the Future song real quick and just be hyped for it. But we did see probably what could be the best team in the ACC take down a vaunted opponent in UNC last night.
Yeah, 100%. Jordan Miller definitely led the charge with 24 points, doing what he had to do. Close following him was Nigel Pack with 23. And we've been talking about Isaiah Wong all season, but he certainly has had some help. And having veteran guards is going to help Miami, a team that surprised people last season. And now look at them, they're kind of repeating. I think that's very much a nod to Coach Larinaga and how he's been able to kind of get that team not to, falter and not be a fluke from year one and year two.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Larinaga is probably one of the most underrated coaches in the country. I think I've said it before. I'll say it again. I mean, last year, the team in the regular season was nothing special, but they were probably a slightly above average team. Then you get to the tournament where you have the probable run. Now, it's really funny how you have a UNC team who kind of showcase, a talent inconsistently throughout the year, but then we also had the improbable run. The only difference is Miami is actually being consistent the entire year, being 21-5. And outside of, I think, that weird stretch, I think of 6 games where they won one, lost one. All those games were lost by one possession.
Yeah.
So to me, this is a Miami team that is super athletic. They're super dangerous, and they make adjustments at half too. The game was close. I think it was 35-34 at the half. And then you know what? Y'all killing us in the paint. So you know what we're gonna do? Block off the paint, block off the lanes, make you guys shoot from three. UNC was 5 of 31 from 3-point last night, and that was the one thing that come into the game where UNC is in the bottom 2 of the conference. I said bottom 2 of the conference and 3-point percentage. So you have a great coach over there, a very athletic team, very good team, and they're a fun team to watch. And yeah, it's either them or Pitt right now is the best team in the conference.
1,000%. I'm really excited about Miami. I think Miami, NC State, and Pitt are probably my favorite teams to watch just in terms of play and sharing the ball and doing all the things. And it makes me even more sad looking at North Carolina because I'm like, it could all be so simple, right? You have a Naismith, arguably player of the year in Armando Bacot. He only got fed the ball 6 field goal attempts. Like, how does that happen? Why are you not feeding Armando? That doesn't make sense to me. And 4 fouls, of course, is 4 fouls. Get in foul trouble, have to have a seat. I don't think Pete Nance is at 100% just from watching him, but maybe we just need to have honest conversation. Maybe these guys just had a really lucky year last year and they just don't have the horses in the stable like we think. Is that it? Because there's just no way you go 5 of 31 from 3. And beyond that, why aren't y'all running the play? Do y'all not like Hubert? What is going on?
I mean, that's just I really don't know. And the thing is, I think with UNC, I'm of the belief that you can definitely see a team of Mars can get hot at the very right time. I mean, you can look at Florida State from a few seasons ago when they made the Elite Eight and met up with Mo Wagner. I think Franz Wagner is actually older brother from Michigan. That I think it could be that. It just overall, I mean, the players are mainly the same. I mean, the one player that actually isn't there, and then you saw how important he was during the tournament run was Brady Manick. So maybe, just maybe, just call Brady up real quick, see if he has like one extra year eligibility left, maybe one extra month and a half to hopefully bring him back for that.
He's out in Puerto Rico doing the damn thing. And you know what's crazy?
Oh, Puerto Rico, goddamn son.
Like North Carolina is getting no bench help. Like Puff Johnson come off the bench, only got 2 points on the night. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Coach Hubert Davis needs to play more people. And I'm like, do y'all think that Hubert is not smart enough to say if they were better than the starters, they would be out there? Like, I'm just trying to give my man a little bit of grace here because it just seems to me that everyone's assuming that Hubert doesn't know talent and he's trying to like just not throw the best ones out on the court. Maybe the alignment and the matchups aren't as great. Maybe they need to figure out, a better starting five. I don't know the answer. All I know is, though, I feel like Hubert will put the best people on the floor if he felt like they were. Either way it goes, it's just watching the game. And some of the 3 attempts were insane. Like Leaky Black, no, sir. No, sir. What are you doing? I'm like, you better drive to the lane or something. It's so frustrating. 5 for 31 from 3 is insanity. After you just had this really good offensive performance against Clemson, which I don't know if this is more about Clemson than it does about North Carolina. But we did have a great question from one of our viewers here. He said, just join. You may have already talked about this, but just when would the Heels be considered a bubble team? They're a bubble team. Just win right now. They are very much a bubble team. How many more can they lose and still be considered a lock for the tournament? I honestly say if they lose 2 more, if they lose at NC State, they might be in trouble for real. If they lose on Saturday against NC State, I think they will be in trouble for real. That's just my personal opinion. Drizzy Drake, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the schedule overall, there definitely should be a last 4 in kind of team at the moment. But you look at basically they had the 4-game losing streak early in the year against Iowa State, Alabama. Alabama, number 1 team. Told y'all then. Y'all laughed at me, but look at them now. Indiana and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech wasn't playing that great at that time, but still, that's not a great loss. You lose to Pitt. That's a quality, what did you call it? Quality loss, but it's still an in-conference loss. You lose to Virginia, but then lose to Pitt, Duke, Wake Forest. You do get the Clemson win, which does help you out, but then you lose to Miami. Y'all lose one more game, and then you're going to have to actually hope and pray that ACC tournament time you're actually able to continue to keep winning because you're at the point now where one loss, you definitely could be in trouble with somebody. And like one thing that we said before we started the show was, is the name brand kind of also helping carry this team into the tournament too? So
I'm just trying to say.
You got to ask yourself that. And the end of the season, you get NC State. If you win that game, it should be easier with Notre Dame. Virginia is a toss-up, but that could definitely be a losable game. And then Florida State, then you end up with Duke. So
could be a losable game. Virginia, are you serious? We're going to do this?
I'm trying to give you some. It's Valentine's Day. I'm trying to give you some. I'm trying to give you some hope. I'm trying to give you some love. Okay, come on now. But yeah, it's the end schedule. Like you gotta like at most maybe lose one game, but overall, like even that, like you might actually be probably heading out to the NIT real quick, and that's something that's gonna be very heartbreaking for Coach Hubert Davis.
If you lose to Notre Dame, you can forget it. If you lose to Florida State, you can forget it. If you lose to Duke, you can forget it. Those are the 3 that you cannot lose. Virginia, it has to be a hell of an upset. NC State, you got to win that game. I'd even give it to you. Maybe you could squeak by without that one. But if you lose to Notre Dame, if you lose to Florida State, just forget it. Have fun at the NIT. We'll try again next year. And that's just what it is. And it's very frustrating, all things considered, because this is a very talented team. And that's what's pissing me off every time I watch. I'm like, on paper, y'all going to have to be these automatic big kids. Like, y'all are going to have to do that in order to get to the damn tournament, which is crazy, but not impossible. I was telling my friend last night, like, it's not impossible that this group can mess around and win the whole ACC tournament and get into the tournament that way. I don't want that to be their story, but it could happen.
No. Listen, at least you're going to the tournament. I don't know why you're complaining over here. It's like, oh, we need these automatic bags. You know what? Listen, I'm over here trying to tell my team to have a good time, to hang out, make some friends, do some traveling.
But that's the thing. Florida State is definitely a team where it's right there. And that's what's frustrating. I know from you obviously watching, but like Florida State has it right there. And I think all season long, when I've seen them in games, I'm like, it's not for lack of talent. It's just some maneuvering all correctly, but there's a couple of just, wide open shots that I kind of blame like Louisville too. When it's a wide open look, you got to make it. Some of y'all just, you got to hit that shot when it's all said and done. We're going to talk through some of these Tuesday matchups here because I know it's a lot of love going around. There's a lot of good games that could potentially upset. Because I feel like, personally, I don't know about you, Drake, answer this after we get back, but the ACC is still anybody's game. But first, if you're looking for a delicious treat, don't want all of the fat and calories, and you got to try Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know the goal is to eat a little healthier this year, trying to get slim and trim, slim thick while you're at it. Maybe do what you do. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they are covered in 100% real chocolate, and they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today or even Sam's Club to get you a box. You can get a little mixed box, 17 grams of protein, only 130 calories. I'm trying to tell you, Built Bar is where it's at. If you have not tried it yet, please try one. Hit us back on YouTube. Let us know how you feel. We're talking through men's basketball. A lot of good games happening here on Tuesday night. We just went over the Miami, North Carolina game, and now we're sitting here telling you there's a little bit more love to go. NC State, Syracuse, happening tonight at 7 p.m. An NC State team that has surprised a lot of people this season. I certainly have been surprised in a good way about this team. They are playing like a true team, sharing the love. Who's going to have the 20-point night? Maybe multiple people. Joyner, Quavion Smith, DJ Burns. All the guys seem to be figuring it out. Good on Coach Keats, who definitely was on the hot seat. Seat is definitely cold, freezing cold at this point. They take on the Syracuse team where Coach Boeheim might just have to gracefully bow out at the end of the season. I don't know if he will, but it's definitely one of those things where maybe we can just consider it. Take some time, reevaluate, reassess, and maybe come into next year. But if you look at this game, I see it being NC State and then Syracuse figuring out, not being able to figure it out late.
Yeah, so Coach K, had the farewell tour, and then you had Roll Williams like, you know what? I don't need all that. I'm a classier person. I'm just going to dip out, bow out into the sunset. Yeah, Boeheim might have to do that too. And I think Boeheim is kind of like the way you see right now. It's the reason why Roy did that, because Boeheim, it's a team that's also been extremely inconsistent, also with bad losses to a Bryan team, a Colgate team in the beginning of the year. And this is a team where NC State, they right now, Bar Torvik, folks, if you don't know, Bar Torvik is like an advanced metrics thing that I use for all my gambling purposes, has Syracuse as a 3.5-point dog. And with the NC State team, with the Casey Morcell, Quavion Smith, these are two solid players. And they're also coming off a loss to Virginia, but then they smoked Boston College by, I think, 30 points. Mm-hmm. NC State team that is obviously ready for the NCAA tournament and obviously ready basically for the ACC tournament, which they actually have a decent chance of actually competing and going deep in. To me, this is a team that went to State that they might just tell Syracuse, like, hey, Jim, it's okay. You're up there in age. You watch your sons play. It's all good. You can hang out and chill. Go to the Bahamas. Go to Puerto Rico. Go to Cancun, as we saw with all the NFL
Cancun
players.
On 3.
Yeah, Cancun on 3. So, give me NC State here to cover the -3, and this is a team that is going to be kind of scary to watch move forward, too.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think NC State being a top 25 team is definitely something I didn't have on my bingo card, but I hope that they can just pull it out and keep things rolling and not get caught up in sort of being the top 25, still being hungry as we get towards tournament play. But speaking of coaches who are considering retirement or retired, and now they're just, leaving their team, Mike Brey out of Notre Dame came out yesterday. Jeff Goodman from Twitter let the world know that Brey is not done coaching. He is just done at Notre Dame at the end of the season. So there was this big thing about him announcing his retirement mid-season. The team is definitely been poo-poo kachoo. It's not even like they turned things around for your boy and was like, no, coach, don't leave. We're going to keep winning. That ain't been happening. They face a really good Duke team tonight. And I'm just sitting here saying, that was like a quiet, I don't know if that was a quiet quitting, a quiet firing, or whatever, what have you. But either way, Brey will not be back at Notre Dame next season.
So yeah, I was about to say, did he quit? Is he get?
I think he was going to get fired and said, instead of being fired, I'm going to retire. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, ooh, I don't want to retire. I still got that itch. I'm coming back, just not at Notre Dame. I don't want to deal with these boys.
You can't fire me. I quit. Yeah, that's a great thing you're showcasing over there. And then if you're one of the Notre Dame players, then if you see how that's transpiring, why? I don't know why if you care is the right term. I think it's more like why. I guess then would you be like, hey, this guy's leaving us this year. He's not telling us the full story unless they obviously they know the full story. Then I'm not in the locker room, so it could be different. So then you see a team that started off winning 5 straight games, but then I think hasn't had a 2-game winning streak since November. And folks, for those who don't know, November is the start of the college basketball season. So this is a game against a Duke team, great Duke team, very solid Duke team, even though they're on a 2-game losing streak. Yeah. And it would be hilarious if Duke suffered a loss here. They won't, but I will take Notre Dame to cover this game. Right now, the spread potentially be, I think, 12.5.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Notre Dame to cover up to 10.
Yeah, I think this Duke team is playing pissed off right now after that controversial Virginia Duke ending last week. And even Coach Shire said that he's still pissed off about it. Of course, it's time to move on. However, I'm really interested to see how they bounce back and mature as a team. If they just dominate Notre Dame, get them a good one, and if they keep rolling. Now, for me, Duke team, as much as we talk about UNC being on the bubble, Duke's got to figure some things out too. Like there are definitely conversations to where they definitely have one up. They're in good, solid position, but they need to keep winning in order to maintain their stay, because I don't see them winning the ACC tournament. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I think we've already kind of highlighted that the teams are hot right now at the top, heading probably over in ACC tournament play. We got Miami, and you got Clemson in that solid team too, and also you got Pitt. So to me, with this Duke team, it's also like, I mean, we said ad nauseum, like the standard at Duke is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And Duke, I think, already has they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses. So, and that to me is a team that, I mean, it's a program that's not okay with that. But John Shire, hey, it's John Shire. I think he's fine with. I wonder why. But with Duke overall, this is a team that they need to be consistently well, and they need to actually bounce back from those two bad losses, because they play Syracuse, a bad Louisville team, but then they have Virginia Tech, North Carolina State, and UNC to end the year. That's a tough-ish stretch actually at the end of the year to close out for 3 games.
And how many quad 1 wins does Duke have? They beat NC State. They beat Miami. I'm looking for it. Help me out here. I think that might be it.
Iowa you consider one, I think, probably.
I would say those are the only 2. Ohio State. They beat Ohio State.
Okay, there you go.
So 3 quad 1 wins, which again.
Yeah, 3 quad 1 wins. Yep.
Yeah. And how many do they have left? Great question. So they still have to play NC State. And North Carolina. Is North Carolina quad 1 win right now?
I think for the advanced metrics, you'll qualify them as a quad 1, but I think from what we've been seeing, you don't qualify that as quad 1. But for the purpose of the show, yes, it is a quad 1.
Who do they have left? Notre Dame, Syracuse, Louisville, Virginia Tech. So NC State and North Carolina are the only 2 that they feel like they have a must-win, which is for North Carolina. You would hate for both of them to come down to that must-win game for the 2 of them in March. Jesus, help us. You would never hear that at the end of the Twitterverse between North Carolina and Duke fans. You know how they get a little spicy. It's like the Miami Florida State vibe. You know the feel. You know the feels.
I know what it is. You know what it is.
Tuesday night, you also have Boston College and Pitt. Pitt, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up with your pants down, because Boston College is not a team that's terrible. That's the thing. They absolutely can beat Pitt. They can catch them sleeping at the wheel, and Pitt can't afford to. They're number 1 team right now. Keep things rolling. I don't think they will, because it's at Pitt. But damn it, if they do, how spicy this ACC tournament will be.
I feel like you low key have been like a closet Boston College basketball fan all year.
I am. I'm definitely a Coach Grant fan. I definitely am a Quentin Post fan. I think that Boston College, it reminds me of Forbes, and when Wake Forest was just starting out, getting the right transfers in and, starting to figure things out. I definitely think that they have, the right coach in place. Now it's about getting the right players and all playing and gelling together, and kind of establishing that, listen, we're going to be friends and homies for 10 months, and then that's just what it is.
So then I got to ask you this then. How motivated and how big of a thing is going to be that lost to North Carolina State by 30 for this game? How's it going to help them out? Because this is a team that just got shellacked by NC State, a better team, and then Pittsburgh is saying they're playing well. They got a 5-game win streak going on. They're looking good after losing to Florida State by not 8, which is, I just don't know how that happened.
Right.
But do you think that basically with that loss of 30 points, they were not looking ahead, but kind of like, hey, listen, we'll chalk this one up real quick, and then we're actually going over to Pitt. Do you think they actually have a better than decent chance of winning this game?
No, because I think Pitt at home right now Pitt is the hottest team, and you got to give them the nod. I think it's going to be close, but it's going to be ultimately no cigar for the Eagles. And I think that for whatever reason, not even for whatever reason, I know Nike Sabande and company are having just a really good overall playing. They let people get in games. They let Florida State get in the game, right? They let them go on a little mini runs at times, but we're able to, keep that offense up and play some sound defense. So I think that they ultimately don't have the offensive wheelhouse to beat the Pittsburgh Panthers.
All right, so folks, take pick to cover.
That's just what I think. That's just what I think. But it's all love here. I would say though, Drizzy Drake, ask you the question here: ACC tournament time. Do you still feel like it's a crapshoot? Do you still feel like it's anybody's game?
I mean, I do. I mean, you kind of see how inconsistent each team is when they play each other, and you haven't been able to see like one true team kind of dominate. Actually, overall with ACC, I think Miami, for example, is a team that we've been high on all show. They have 4 losses in conference play. So it's kind of like you look at it overall, like there is no true alpha dog that you see kind of this year, right? So to me, that it could be anybody's game. It could be the kind of like the year from a few seasons ago where we had Georgia Tech of all teams with the homie Jose Alvarado just coming up and leading the team to the promised land. It could be a year like that, and that's kind of what feels like it's shaping out to be.
Yeah, and as quiet as it's kept, as much as people can call me crazy, I still think like a team like Virginia Tech could mess around and pop off and figure things out. And that's what would annoy the crap out of me if I was playing in a tournament like this, because you just never know who you're going to go up against. But like a Virginia Tech could mess around and figure things out, and Hunter Couture could have, his best season in the stands and go off for like 55. Like it could happen. It could happen. Louisville could mess around and upset a team that knocks out your favorite. Okay.
We ain't doing that.
Louisville just needs to hold up a sign like in need of big man. Please inquire at Louisville.com, because like they just won big man away. L. Ellis, I can't call his name right now, the young freshman, but they just need a big man so bad. It's just terrible to watch. Like no front court presence, but it's fine. We'll end that on a good note.
At least they'll have Georgia Tech. So
they'll always have Georgia Tech. Say all that to say, Drizzy Drake, it's always a pleasure. It's short and sweet today, but I'm super excited about Valentine's. You got some plans? Doing anything fun?
I know she's gonna listen to the show later, so I'm gonna keep it a little secret here. Yeah, but I got something cooking in the works for tonight.
Okay. We love a little fiance vibe. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting engaged this Valentine's Day, so for anyone who is asking, don't worry about it. Riding the tide, just enjoying nice, simple flowers and candy. I love all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one. And watching some ACC basketball. We've got some really good games Tuesday, some good games on Wednesday, and then the women kick off on Thursday, and we plan for a really good weekend. How was your Super Bowl vibe? Did you love Rihanna or did you love Rihanna? So we're talking about love now.
I mean, listen, y'all know, Candace has known me for a very long time. Rihanna can do no wrong in my eyes. She did no wrong Sunday night. When she came out to bitch, I about to have my money. I'm like, this is the song. This is my song right here. She found love in a hopeless place. I'm like, yes, we did. Yes, we did. I was looking at my fiance like, we found love in a hopeless place, baby. I love you. I love you, Jess.
I just hit after hit. It really was a great experience. I, of course, as a Giants fan, I'm like, the Eagles lost, man. But I really wanted them to get the W. I can't lie. I'm over the Patrick Mahomes thing. I don't know.
I like Patty and Andy, but also
I like Patrick, not his family.
No, his dad's hilarious though. But I do like Jalen Hurts though a lot, and Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone likes Jalen Hurts.
1,000%. I wonder if Eagles core group is going to come back though. That's the biggest question.
Oh, do you see how many free agents they lost? There's a lot of players going to be missing from that team. I think Jason Kelce might retire. I mean, he's older. Brandon Graham's going to be out. Miles Sanders is a free agent. Like, oof, this is and they just paid AJ.
They might not get back. Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah, that really is the nature of the beast. Like, I think as much as they were talking about how hard it is to get there and as hard it is to go back, but hopefully Jalen will get some horses in the stable that will help him take another trip. Lane Johnson get that surgery, be good to go. But the Chiefs, on the other hand, lock and reload. Like, going in next season, they definitely gave Dabo vibes, Clemson vibes of nobody believed in us. Nobody thought we would be here. Like, I'm like, bro.
Dabo over here saying, it's like, he stole my whole flow. Word for word, bar for bar. I do feel bad for Keita Brunson from Abbott. I know she was at the game and she's a huge Philly fan. I feel bad.
Sickening. Yeah.
For my girl.
Listen, the Dabo energy, I just felt all of the Clemson. You guys didn't think we would get here. Like, bro, You had
Travis, shut
trouble.
up.
Like,
Shut up.
like what are we doing here? What are we? Clemson, best defense sound. Which, shameless plug, if you have not yet checked out the Clemson 2023 schedule preview, make sure you go ahead and do that. We're dropping the North Carolina one on Friday, so make sure you check that out. We're going to get through the entire summer talking about everyone's schedule and who actually might be ACC champions. So go and make sure you do that. Drake, I can't wait to talk about Florida State. All positive vibes over here. Feeling it.
Mhm.
Something positive for you guys to talk about.
Oh yeah, we feel we feel great over here. It's gonna be a good time, and keep this recorded too, because if something happens, I don't want to go back to this. So yeah,
I'll remember this Valentine episode, pull it up, and just replay your words, however it goes. Drake, it's always a pleasure to have you, friend. Can you please remind the folks of where they can find you, follow your work?
Well, folks, first of all, happy Valentine's Day with your significant other, and you can follow me at Tally__Drake. You can follow my coach Dave at FSU Knowles. The O is a 0 and the S is a 5 because he's like 1,000 years old from like pre-World War I. But you also can follow the podcast at Knowles Anonymous, where we engage with our fans, get themes for episodes, and get messages for a mandatory Maybach Mondays. And as always, we're fans first, people second, and content creators third.
No doubt about it, guys. Tuesday matchups tonight, Wednesday matchups we'll talk about tomorrow. Make sure you come back. Listen to Locked On College Basketball if you want the full landscape of where teams are laying, bubble teams, all of that fun stuff, and all of our shows here at the Locked On Podcast Network. For Candace Cooper and Drizzy Drake, until next time.